Here we go again!
As we are now entering the final quarter of 2017, I have managed to find some spare time off work to check out the two latest animated films, Captain Underpants and the Lego Ninjago movie. There have been many iconic heroes in the world of literature, from Sherlock Holmes to Harry Potter, but none can be quite as bizarre as the madcap adventures of Captain Underpants. Written and illustrated by Dave Pilkey, the stories of two class clown buddies named George and Harold hypnotizing their cruel-hearted Principal Krupp into their superhero creation while children's of the late 1990s, with its brand of twisted, immature yet hilarious adventures, selling over 70 million books worldwide. And now, after 20 years the first book was published, DreamWorks Animation has brought their Titan in Tights to the silver screen. Now, for someone who hasn't read the books, but very aware of its existence, I had a lot of fun watching this film. The film manages to abridge the first 4 volumes of the book series into a film where these two schoolmate pranksters have their responsibilities of their creation coming to life, showing how creativity and collaboration can also come with a pretty heavy price. Another thing that's great about this movie is the comedy. Every joke, whether it be verbal, visual, and even some gags that would seem so juvenile and disgusting on paper, managed to be executed so flawlessly, which further proves that even fart jokes and toilet humor can be hilarious under the right circumstances.
Stop doing this! I am Captain. What are you doing? Hello? Well, hello! What's happening? Fear not! Didn't know I could do this. Hey, sidekick! Hey! No!
The animation provided by Milkros Images of Montreal is also a pleasure to watch, seeing how they've translated Pilkey's illustrations into this 3-dimensional environment while giving the characters tons of flexible and bombastic movement, on top of some 2D animated sequences and even one scene that was done entirely out of sock puppets. This really goes to show you that this film has tons of effort for a very low budget of $38 million. Keep in mind that DreamWorks was at a financial crisis during the production of this film. And I'm very glad to say that even the characters bring a lot of joy into this movie. It's really fun to see Principal Krupp, played by Ed Helms, shift his gears from being this child-hating tightwad to this oblivious bumbling superhero just by the snap of the fingers. The friendship of George and Harold help brings the heart and charm to balance the comedy and chaos. And even Professor Poopy Pants has a backstory that's both tragic yet so hard not to laugh. Overall, whether if you're familiar with the book series or not, Captain Underpants is an epic movie you don't want to miss these school holidays, thanks to its crazy animation, hilarious characters, and a plot that is so ridiculous yet bursting with creativity. Also, for anyone who's a fan of Weird Al Yankovic, I strongly recommend that you listen to his movie's theme song, which is during the end credits. And considering that this is DreamWorks' last animated film to be distributed by 20th Century Fox before having a new home at Universal, I'm glad to say this film has ended their deal on a high note. This movie is truly worth owning on Blu-ray or digital, after watching it in theaters.
Is it okay that I'm kind of loving this?
Yes and no, but mostly yes.
Now, let's head on over to the latest chapter in the LEGO Cinematic Universe. The Warner Animation Group really made a name for themselves thanks to the success of the LEGO Movie back in 2014. So much so that Warner Brothers not only decided to greenlit a sequel that will be out in a few years, but also 2 spin-off movies in the meantime. You might recall that I did a review of the LEGO Batman movie way back in March, and much like its predecessor, that film became one of the biggest and surprising animated films to come out in 2017. But now let's see if this second spin-off movie can follow that success with the LEGO Ninjago movie. In a faraway land known as Ninjago lies a never-ending battle between a pack of trained ninja warriors led by their green leader Lloyd and the evil warlord and Lloyd's father, Lord Gamadon. However, one battle had gone too far, which accidentally summoned a new kind of threat upon Ninjago. So, against all odds and parental issues, Lloyd, his teammates, and even Garmadon have to settle their differences to save Ninjago from the claws of this new terror. Basically, the plot of this movie is just a classic journey from point A to point B while having some character development along the way. But I have to admit, the writers did a fairly decent effort, especially making a clever twist of the bond between the father and his son. Which is funny to think that the most interesting character in this film is, ironically, the film's main villain, Garmadon himself. At first glance, he does seem like your typical supervillain who's evil just for the sake of being evil. Yet as the film goes on, we see how this arrogant warlord would have had a much better life if he stayed with his wife and new son.
Well, generals, congratulations. We finally conquered Ninjago.
I'm not certain we did that.
I was being sarcastic! I'm getting a really good vibe about you.
The movie also has a great performance by martial artist Jackie Chan as both the Master Wu and the bookend narrator for this film. The Ninja Warriors, led by Lloyd, have some enjoyable moments as well, including that robot ninja, and Meowthra, a giant live-action cat, has one scene with Garmadon that was surprisingly funny. But of course, like the previous two LEGO movies, the animation by the folks at Animal Logic is beautiful to behold, especially how they've managed to meld the stop-motion style of the LEGO characters and the live-action cat so seamlessly. There were many scenes that got me curious whether Meowthra was filmed in live-action or in CGI. While not as grand as the previous LEGO movies, the LEGO Ninjago movie is still a worthwhile experience. For my recommendation, this will be enjoyed for anyone who has a passion for Legos, father and son storylines, or major Jackie Chan fans. I say this film is worth going out to see in theaters.
Dad.
Lloyd?
That's right, your son, and it's Lloyd.
No. Lloyd. I named you.
You ruined my life.
That's not true. I haven't even been a part of your life. How could I ruin it? I wasn't even there.
Wow, he is super dumb.